Tony, let's talk a little bit about set-top box data. What are your views?
Oh, set-top box data in terms of multi-screen measurement is absolutely fundamental, and certainly to what we consider the traditional broadcast, traditional screens. MRC is probably going to, and I know they are looking at that arena, and certainly I think the involvement of MRC would again enhance and help the quality and help us all understand, what needs to be done in the set-top box arena. This gets interesting because, of course, with the whole coalition, the SIM coalition being announced, I suspect that they will in fact also drive advances in methodology and techniques with set-top box data, possibly, in some kind of liaison with MRC. So that's going to be something that's going to be very interesting to follow as SIM follows, if you will, the screens, which some people have suggested as 3, and I would suggest is 4. It's not 3 screens. There's a 4th screen. It's called digital out-of-home. And I know in some digital out-of-home there is only advertising, but a lot of digital out-of-home is now carrying programming, which again could interest the networks and the cable companies. So set-top box data, very, very important. Perhaps short-lived, in terms of the long-term vision, because I think set-top boxes are actually going to go away, 5 to 10 years, and it's all going to come off the internet, and you won't have a box. But very important for the next, say, 5 to 10.
So digital out-of-home. It's not mobile. Mobile is considered one of the 3 screens. Can you go into a little bit more detail about digital out-of-home?
Indeed, yeah. In addition to the set in your home, the PC in your home, your mobile phone, which is, if you will, the 3rd screen, what we are seeing is a growth and an explosion of digital screens, if you will, often called place-based. Not only are we seeing digital in traditional outdoor formats, I mean even billboards now have gone digital, but I say we're seeing an explosion, if you will, of the small digital screens, video, whether it's in malls, airports, gas stations, on golf carts, in elevators. And that arena is doing very, very well. They've got OVAD marketing that medium exceedingly well. Wonderfully, they have measurement guidelines. They're starting to get measurement, and I really do believe that we have to, if we're going to talk about multi-screen measurement and bringing the audiences together for the vendors to offer a multi-screen audience to an advertiser, we have to think about that screen as well. Perhaps not today, but down the road.
I know that in countries like Japan, they have ways of measuring because you can attach your cell phone to certain billboards. Can you talk a little bit about measurement for digital outdoor and what you've done?
Well, the big focus in the world right now is actually measuring what we'll call mainstream outdoor, with digital coming on behind it. Actually, I've been working around the world with joint industry committees that are putting together methodologies and approaches to measure what I call mainstream roadside advertising and what have you. What is interesting is now we can extend those techniques and approaches, which are basically integrated approaches. They do not use single surveys. You can't measure outdoor with a single survey. It doesn't work. And as I said in London a couple of years ago, I don't believe single surveys work for pretty well any medium anymore. But those techniques and those integrated techniques are now being extended to what I call the place-based digital video market, and they are now starting, as traditional outdoor has embraced measurement, digital outdoor place-based media are now embracing measurement. And in fact, well, of course, as I said, we have the OVAD guidelines, and I believe 11 of the prominent marketers in that arena in America have now executed studies to those new guidelines. What is interesting is that I was very proud to complete work with a wonderful international team of experts in outdoor measurement on behalf of SMR. SMR this year just released their very first time global guidelines on out-of-home measurement, called version 1.0. It addresses, quote, traditional outdoor media in the whole arena of digital place-based. Gets a little different, there's a little different twist to it because you've got to get into dwell times, and then the proportion of the commercial time, of the proportion of the whole programming sequence on digital. And actually what we're doing is we're already now working on version 2.0 of these guidelines so that we can embrace digital, place-based, out-of-home in the guidelines, and get, again, the whole world to follow and harmonize their measurement standards, so we have harmonized, comparable data for P&G and Unilever and Coca-Colas of this world, so that they can look at the performance of the media and in fact execute plans and buys, worldwide across the platform.
Are there differences across countries? Is the United States on the same platform and at the same level of technology as other countries? How would the measurement work internationally, I guess, is my basic question.
Well, I think the principles are now laid down in the SMR guidelines, and the Traffic Audit Bureau in America that is executing the new eyes-on ratings for traditional outdoor are generally following those guidelines. There are certainly nuances and differences as how different countries may interpret those, or to the level of quality that they execute their research in relation to the SMR standards. But I think, generally the beauty of the SMR guidelines is that whatever country and whatever platform you're looking at, the guidelines are there, the minimum threshold levels are there. There are also recommended best practices, and of course, I guess if you're the agency or the advertiser, you hope that the media follow and invest in best practices. So what's interesting here is that America was way behind in outdoor measurement. Through the TAB's Eyes-On initiative, they kind of caught up, but the leader in the world was PostStar, and again, unfortunately, America is now a little bit behind again, because new PostStar is now underway, and I sat on that committee for nearly 2 years as we looked at what PostStar had done in relation to the guidelines, in relation to the learning that we'd achieved through the years. And in fact, new PostStar is now working with new, slightly modified approaches, new techniques, and they're going to measure many more platforms. So they're going beyond the traditional formats. They're going to measure buses, stations, taxis, which again, if you're the advertiser or the agencies, I want the comparable measure across all the platforms. PostStar is going to be there, but again, a wonderful opportunity for America to learn and in fact, catch up again very quickly.